personal perspective and from the perspective of the organization I work for, USCIB, how proud I am to have Deloitte, Coca-Cola, UPS, Walmart, and a number of the companies you mentioned, Vicki, as participating in your work, to have them as members, and to be a member of BIAC, and to have the opportunity to work with the OECD. I, for one, can't wait to get at the next stage of this, because as we've been saying all day, this isn't an end in itself, this workshop. This is the first step in what we plan to be a companion report to the work we did on women in management. So putting all our ideas to work, women in entrepreneurship. And one of the things that has struck me very forcefully is that we have, just in our conversation today, added substantially, I think, to the business case for empowering women, and added to it through it the entrepreneurship perspective, both the business case for large companies, like the ones we've just heard, as well as the obvious business case for growing smaller companies that are going to create jobs and add wealth to their communities. So I think that's a very substantial thing we can do. The second thing that has struck me is how powerful some of the common themes that we identified in our first report have come through, again through a slightly different perspective, about the importance of top leadership ownership, of being able to measure impact, of the critical importance of networking and mentoring, of the societal issues, child care, elder care, and so on. And so I think we can continue to make that case. Thirdly, something that has struck me particularly this afternoon is how much cross-cutting material there is about other parts of the OECD and other aspects of OECD work than just strictly the gender project. Not just the obvious relationship with Nina, but Heather's not here, so I can't thank her for bringing this up, but the relationship to trade and the OECD work on value chains, the critical importance of the OECD work on skills and training, and the work that goes on in the education department. And I think one thing that we can do in our report is to try to make those connections more explicit. Finally, I just want to say a word about definition. We collected all of your cards of what does entrepreneurship mean, and obviously I've only had a chance to have a very brief glance through them. But it's very interesting to me that they fall into two broad categories. Some of you talked about entrepreneurship in the context of business and running a business, but quite a number talked about entrepreneurship in the sense of a personality or of personal characteristics, of attitudes, of relationships. And I think that we need to find a way of getting at both of those dimensions of entrepreneurship in our work. So I'm going to stop there.